What the hell is happening? So today, I'm gonna make one of Julia Child's most well-known dishes. It's the cassoulet. And this is Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
Now this is the classic recipe from my classic cookbook, Volume 1 of Mastering the Art of French Cooking. Now it's taken me so long to finally make this recipe because I just look at this thing and yeah, so you know, I just sat down finally and just read over the recipe a few times to try to understand what it is all about, and then I watched her on her show, the French chef, like make this thing, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I can give it a try, see what happens. Cassoulet is a rich combination of beans baked with meats, typical of southwestern France. And the composition of a cassoulet is, in typical French fashion, the subject of infinite dispute. So much so that if you have read or heard about cassoulet and have never tasted it, you come to expect a kind of rare ambrosia rather than nourishing country fare it actually is. What?
In the ancient Greek myths, ambrosia, the food or drink of the Greek gods, is often depicted as conferring longevity or immortality upon whoever consumed it. Do you want me?
Food of the gods, got it. As cassoulet is native to a relatively large region of France, each part of which has its own specialties, arguments about what should go into this famous dish seem based on local traditions. Yeah, okay, so to sum that all up, you can make cassoulet with goose, or you can make it with pork and sausages. And if you make one, then the other side's gonna debate you about what a cassoulet is, and then if you make the other. Anyway, Julia's is with the pork and the sausages. Cassoulet de porc et de mouton. Anyway, this is a monster of a recipe. She even says here the recipe makes no attempt to cut corners, as none of hers do. And the concoction of a good cassoulet is a fairly long process. It is around 11 o'clock in the old AM, and I have a lot to do. Let's get cooking. What I have in here, ooh, this is 2.5 pounds of pork loin that has been boned, or deboned. She says boned. So this is a nice looking cut of pork, kind of pricey, but last night I started this thing. I had to trim off all the excess fat, had to figure out how to do that. It was a great time. And then I had this marinating in a salt marinade, which was a combination of like lots of salt, pepper, thyme, crushed up bay leaf, some garlic, allspice. Yeah, I just had that sitting in that marinade overnight in the fridge, and here we are. Smells fantastic. And now I gotta figure out how to roast a pork because I have shamefully never done that before. First I'm gonna dry this thing off and wipe off the marinade. Well, if I can. There's some bay leaf on there that is really on there. I think that's fine. So I'm gonna use a dish that I know for sure is not gonna be coming up in the future. I'm just gonna put it in this dish. I never use this dish, so yeah, here's your moment. What? All right, I've just been stopped dead in my tracks. Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it, she's just kind of confusing with all the dishes I gotta use. It's my favorite braising dish. This is gonna be one of those videos where you're honestly just gonna have to bear with me while I try to figure this all out. It's gonna be a long day. So 3 tablespoons of pork fat onto medium heat. Once the pork fat starts to smoke, I'm gonna add the pork. I gotta brown it on all sides. It's gonna take around 10 minutes. Pork into another dish. This is one of those days that's gonna be really difficult to mise en place everything. So just, you know, I'm just gonna be doing everything a bit slower. It's not a race, it's a marathon. Chopped up carrot, peeled onion, and I was watching Julia slice these onions a specific way, and that's just all I'm gonna do today too. Just like, gonna need a couple unpeeled cloves of garlic, cheesecloth. In the cheesecloth I need like 4 sprigs of parsley, half a bay leaf, and a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Okay, tied with some string. Okay, the onions didn't make me cry when I cut them, but like my eyes that close to them. Now, come on now. The used pork fat that's in here, I don't need any more than 2 spoonfuls of it. So that's good, it's like 1 spoonful. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter, like a knob, to a medium heat. In with the butter, the vegetables. Why did I do? And the herb bouquet. Okay, I feel like that could use a little more butter. Lid goes on for 5 minutes. Maybe turn the heat down a little bit because I want to cook that slowly. I just need to take a breather here. So guys, I'm just tired. I'm tired of overcooking my meat. So I finally spent the 20 bucks and got this meat thermometer. And I think that's gonna help. I really do. So my browned pork goes in with the veggies. But now I can monitor the temperature of this pork while it's in the oven. So that goes in like so. Okay. Like that? Yeah, just leave it like that. So I need the pork to reach a temperature of 175 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, let me just figure out how to make this thing work. So get the lid on. How do you get the lid on? In the pork like that. That's the way the lid can go on. Yeah, okay, I'm excited. And I just broke it. Back onto the stove for a second, and I need to get the meat sizzling. Yeah, that's sizzling. I get this into the oven for however long it's gonna take. I think around a few hours until that temperature is 175 degrees Fahrenheit or 180. So now we wait. I've never done this before. What do I do with this? Whatever. Periodically, like, baste it a few times. Baste it with the juices. Now, next up, you need a half a pound of fresh pork rind or salt pork rind. I picked up some fresh stuff, you know, pork skin, rind skin, and I overbought because that's how it was sold, but it's fine. Having some pig skin in the house it's a strange thing. Okay, so I need half a pound of this stuff. Okay, this is really, really, really intense. Saucepan of cold water. This is crazy. What Julia wants, Julia gets. So in a saucepan of cold water, I gotta bring my half a pound of fresh pork skin to a boil. And the leftover pork skin, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it just yet. Once that's brought to a boil, boil for 1 minute. Drain this, rinse in cold water, and do it again. I don't know why. Back to a boil. Drain it in cold water. With some large scissors, cut the rind into strips 1/4 inch wide. Cut the strips into small triangles. Like I said, I watched the video of her doing this and she made it look easy peasy. Although I am very alarmed at the pig nipples on the skin. I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna show that. That's just intense as hell. Cut off the pig nipples because I just snipped those off. It's just a bit too much, quite honestly. And I do not want to be anywhere close to eating that. Oh, there's like pig hairs too. So I cut these into 1/4 inch, like around 1/4 inch strips. She says cut these into triangles. It's kind of confused me a little bit. And I recall from the video that I watched of her doing this that she didn't cut them into triangles. She just went for it, honestly, just little pieces. Screw those triangles. It's getting exhausting, so I'm just gonna do this. There. Okay, done. Add this back into the saucepan with more cold water. Back over here, simmer slowly for half an hour. Pork is done. Shut it, please. Just gotta put this pork aside to cool it off. Reserve the cooking juices. Keep the cooking juices in the fridge until the fat rises to the surface and I can just peel it right off. I just don't have a fat separator right now. It's actually in the mail. I'm waiting for it, but it didn't come in time. So I gotta do it the fridge way. It's fine. So I'm gonna need 1 small onion, slice this one up, tips off, and then balls to the wall. Another cheesecloth. In go 4 unpeeled garlic cloves, 2 cloves, 2 bay leaves, parsley, that's like 6 to 8 sprigs, half a teaspoon of thyme. After half an hour of simmering, the pork skin is done doing whatever it was doing, which was freshening up, softening, and it's gonna help lose itself when I have to cook it in the beans. What am I supposed to do with this? Leave saucepan aside. Next up, we need to talk about beans. This is 2 pounds worth of dry cannellini beans that have been soaking in cold water overnight. So I've only cooked with dry beans maybe once or twice in my life, so I don't know exactly. I'm always using the canned stuff. So yeah, they're still very firm still, but everything seems to be right on cue. So let's just move on to the next thing. I'm gonna add in the beans, I hope. I really wanna follow exactly how it's written in the book today. I wanna do this cassoulet exactly how she mentions it in this book. So yeah, I'm using 2 pounds of the beans because I don't wanna split in half. And yeah, it's a lot of beans. It's a lot of beans. As far as I can tell, the only ingredient that I've kind of oopsie-daisied on is the bacon. She says streaky bacon, unsmoked, unsalted, and a chunk of it. And I bought like strips of bacon. I really want to follow exactly how it's written in the book today. Not quite a pound either. You dum-dum. Can I use strips of bacon instead of a big chunk of it? That is the question. That is unsmoked, it is unseasoned, but it's strips. I don't know if I should be slicing it or not. I'm gonna keep it whole for now. Simmer that for 10 minutes to render down that fat. Okay, back to the saucepan here. I'm gonna add in my bacon, 1 small sliced up onion, the pork skin, and the cooking liquid because it's now kind of gelatinous a little bit. My herb bouquet. Because I was using fresh pork skin and not salt pork, I need to use a dessert spoon. A dessert spoon of salt. Oh, 4 quarts of water. Simmer for around 90 minutes until the beans are just tender. And then, you know, skim the scum as you go along, and if the beans are not fully submerged in the water, pour a little boiling water on top. How about that? No, actually do that. Skim that scum. I feel like maybe I'm halfway. I can't tell. Woo. This is 2 pounds. Okay, so what I got right in front of me here is 2 pounds of boneless lamb shoulder that the butcher has seemingly attached some, is that rosemary? I think it's rosemary. This was kind of a special purchase. Everything today has been special purchases. Remove excess fat, which is what I did with the pork last night. So that's simple enough. I mean, this is a fattier piece of lamb, but I can get rid of some of the obvious. There's no bone in it, and I gotta cut it into chunks, roughly 2-inch squares. I don't want them too thick. Yeah, that is a lot of fat.
Take all of the extra fat off of it, and there's often some little fat in between the layers, and be sure that it's all taken off.
Julia says to remove all the extra fat, even the stuff that's in between the layers. And there's quite a bit of it, so I'll just do what I can. I removed as much fat as I could, but if I continue to do it, it's just gonna keep making these pieces smaller and smaller and no longer 2-inch squares, so I'll just deal with the fat. It's fine, I'm eating it. So that is 1 pound of lamb bones. They're gonna go in a 450-degree oven for 20 minutes. I'm gonna shake them every like 5 minutes or whatever, but they gotta brown. Things are happening. You can't see it right now, but I know things are happening. So we've all been there, right? We bought something off Amazon and it came in the mail and it was, you're like, whoops, that's not exactly what I had in mind. Or, you know, I bought the wrong thing. Yeah, I was trying to buy a non-stick pan the other day and I was just like a normal sized pan. I bought this by accident, which if you can see is quite large. It's Big Bertha. It's the biggest frying pan I have ever seen in my entire life. It is great for something. It's great for not crowding your meat when you're browning it. Okay, so remember when I cooked that duck? I wonder if this duck cooked quicker because it was sitting in all this duck fat, because there's just so much fat that came out of this bad boy. I got a lot of leftover duck fat. And Julia says using the duck fat for this moment right now is perfectly acceptable. So that's what we're gonna do. That's like what, 3 to 4 tablespoons of duck fat? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on at the exact same time right now, but I need to multitask right now to get this done. So make way for the king. Everything's cool. So brown each side of the lamb meat. See, no crowding, no crowding. So the lamb has been browned. And so have the lamb bones. I got a pile up of stuff going on over here. I've never cut onions so fast in all my life. That's 8 ounces of sliced onions. Gotta charge the battery on the camera. Just because I've seen the video of Julia making this too, I kind of have an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. So if this isn't the right idea, then I apologize. But I have a feeling it is. Things are getting f***y over here. A piece of meat fell on the ground. I'll pick that up in a second. Come on. Oh, that Big Bertha is heavy. So I have an idea. I think it's this. Move the browning fat into another pan because I need a pan that's going to be oven safe. And this Big Bertha, I don't think is. Okay, so I got my new pan that I'm going to use with the browning fat in there. Medium heat, yeah. Then I gotta add in the onions. Brown these onions lightly for 5 minutes. Because I'm making a cooking show, I need to make this work for the cameras too. So we're just gonna have to shuffle things around for a second. Just so you know, doing all of this right now, all at once in the same day, this is one of the more challenging recipes I've ever done. And in the TV show, she made it look so easy. And she says you can prepare this in 1 day, but 2 or even 3 days of leisurely on and off cooking are much easier. Well, so I'm gonna add the lamb bones, the lamb meat, and then all this other stuff that I don't even have prepared yet. So this is roughly 3 cups, 700 milliliters of beef stock, 5 tablespoons of tomato paste. Do I have any thyme left? Half a teaspoon of thyme. There's like a thyme shortage over here. Not thyme, but like the herb thyme. And you're never gonna believe this, 2 more bay leaves. Dry white vermouth, I need 437 milliliter-ish of it, which is gonna be, what, just like a little under 2 cups worth. Add in some salt and pepper. Cover that up. This has to simmer for an hour and a half, and I have the choice between leaving it on the stove like this or putting it into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I choose the oven just to get it the hell out of my way. What the hell is happening? Got the lamb in the oven for another hour. The beans aren't cooked through yet. They're not tender enough. I have them on the stove for another half an hour. I'll check them then. You think that, I could just take a time out now, but I can't. It's not necessarily what you have to do that's so challenging. It's just the amount of things that you have to do. It's the volume of work. Yeah, we still got shit to do. Homemade sausage cakes, a substitute for blah, blah, blah. Bowl me. Thank you. It's 1 pound of ground pork, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just eyeballing it. Taking too long. There's a 2nd teaspoon. Just like a little bit of pepper, a big pinch of allspice, clove of garlic mashed. I'm not gonna believe how many bay leaves I've used today, but I need a crumbled up full one. I just have the spice mixer. I'm just gonna see if I can crumble it up this way. crumbled up bay leaf, and 1/8 teaspoon of cognac. 1 optional chopped truffle. I don't think so. Not today. I think this is lean ground pork, but I can't be 100% sure because I can't remember because I ordered it online and I don't know what exactly it was. Anywho, that's fine. Instead of 6 ounces of pork fat, I think I'm just gonna add in 4 ounces. Going down with the ship at this point. Form into cakes 2 inches in diameter. Let's bring Big Bertha back over here. So what I gotta do is brown these lightly on a medium heat. Is this on? Sizzle. Gotta wait for it to sizzle. What the hell's going on? There we go. I was gonna say don't crowd the pan, Jamie, but actually Bertha's got it all covered. The beans are done. They're nice and just about tender. Well, they are tender. I don't know, I'm not gonna lie to you, they're tender, which is what I wanted because I was really thinking, the problem I have right now with the beans is that there's a whole bunch of pork skin in here and I cut it up into little pieces and it's mixed in there with the beans, but I don't want the pork skin in my finished dish. Thank you very much. And Julia never mentions the pork skin again. All she says is, I wish you could just search through the book the way you can a phone. Just find this word, pork rind, where are you? She says with the pork skin that it will lose itself as it cooks with the beans. I'm just not buying that because I can see all this pork skin and I just don't want that in the dish. It's just it looks like pork skin. So I gotta do something, and I gotta do something now. I'm gonna drain it. This is gonna find a needle in a hay. It's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take a lot of patience, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. Maybe this spider web will. We're really just getting started. I have this whole thing I gotta sort. Tighten up your bootstraps, is that an expression? We gotta go searching for beans. It is incredibly hot, yes. And this sucks, but I just want it done. I want this whole dish done. And the only way I can get it done is by doing this quickly. So I just have to power through, persevere, persevere. What was she thinking? Why would anyone want to eat these little pork skin bits? I don't get it. I thought it was just for flavor. I really didn't think this through. I shouldn't have cut them up into little pieces. I should have kept it whole. I wasn't thinking, that's the problem. The juices go off to the side. And then now I got a salad bowl with my beans. Full pieces of bacon. I think I need those later, so let's just hold on to those. The bouquet, get out of there. This is the lamb. Do not, and I repeat, do not cut up little pieces of pork skin and add them in with the beans. If you're gonna do that, just add big strips. That way you can identify it, you can remove it, rather than doing whatever the hell I'm doing, which is not fun in the least. I can't believe I just did that. Beans without the pork skin. You can see here how unappetizing this looks. We are now moving on to, All right, the cooked lamb. Holy hell, that looks good. Woo! You gotta remove the lamb from the dish, discard the bones. Where's the bay leaf? There's the bay leaf. Did I put 2 in here? I can't remember. There it is, there it is. Okay. Remove all but 2 tablespoons of fat and carefully correct seasoning of cooking liquid. Remember when I made that pork loin about 3 weeks ago? Here it is. And then I need to cut this roast into 1.5 inch to 2 inch serving chunks.
Also slice that into about a quarter.
The episode on TV, that's what her pork loin looked like those slices. So I'm just gonna mimic that. 1/4 inch pieces, that's what she says in the video. Now take the bacon, cut 1/4 inch thick. I'm just gonna slice it up like this. This is the cooking juices from the roast, the pork roast, earlier today, 10 years ago. The fat has solidified on the very top, so I'm just gonna peel that off. So I think I have removed all but 2 tablespoons of fat from the lamb. Yeah, the lamb roasting juices. So confused. Okay, so what I have to do, pour the cooked and drained beans into the lamb cooking juice, and then stir in any juices you may have from the roast pork, and then gotta simmer this for 5 minutes. Turn off the heat, and this has to hang out for 10 minutes. Drain the beans when you're ready for final assembly. It's just because I'm running out of bowls. Oh, bring back that salad bowl. It's the only one that works right now. Try that again. Okay, I think I have every single component of this dish ready for assembly. Arrange a layer of beans in the bottom of the dish. Then the lamb. Then the roast pork. The roast pork. There might be too much of that. Woo! It's like a layer cake of meat. Next up, the bacon slices. Sausage cakes. And we're ending with the beans. There's nothing else, right? Yeah. This is the most amount of food I've ever made in one go. Meat juices on top. And this is the bean cooking juices. Remember that? That has to go and reach the surface of these beans. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yes, yes, that's exact, right? Where is that scale? Where's the scale? Need a scale. Spread on breadcrumbs on top. I hope this is correct. I really hope this is correct. All of them? This is nuts. This is 8 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Oh, I was supposed to mix it with the breadcrumbs. With the breadcrumbs. That was because you can see in the cookbook that one's easy to miss. But I'll do it. I'll do it. And then just kind of, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use some duck fat, remember, from my duck video? It's too late in the day for this. Pour the fat on top. For what reason, I have no idea at this point. Bring this to the stove, holy shit. That is heavy. To a simmer. It's got this like protective breadcrumb layer on top, so I have no idea when it starts simmering. I mean, it sounds like something's happening under there, but I can't be 100% sure. Yeah, you don't want to burn the bottom, so I'm just going to call it there. Upper part of my oven. Yeah. That's at 375. For what, 20 minutes? For 20 minutes. Take a look. So she says break the crust with a spoon and then start basting with the liquid. Whoa, not the beans, with the liquid. I think I do that with all the crust. Break it all with the back of a spoon. It's kind of unclear, honestly. There's some liquid. Turn the oven down to 350. So I gotta bake that for an hour, and well, throughout that hour, I'll continue to break the crust and baste the top of it. Repeat several times as the crust forms again, but leave a final crust intact for serving. If the liquid in the casserole becomes too thick during the baking, add a spoonful or 2 of the bean cooking liquid. Whew, okay. Order up. Let's crack it open, take a look. To say that I'm excited to eat this is an understatement. It's been nearly 10 hours since I started cooking. Cheers. The hiccups. This is next level. I'd like to have second helping if you don't mind. See, the thing is, I think I added too much breadcrumbs. All that liquid was absorbed by the breadcrumbs, and she says you could add more liquid as it was baking, but I had no idea that the bottom would be completely absorbed as well. So yeah, I've seen photos of other cassoulet online, and they got a little more color to it and a little more liquid to them. But this one doesn't. You know, it doesn't take away from the taste, but it does take away from like very pretty photo I could have got if I had a little more color to it. I hope you like cassoulet, Jamie, because you're gonna be eating that for the rest of the year. I would say there's pros and cons to making the cassoulet. Firstly, I mean, the pros is that it was delicious, and it was rewarding to eat it after a long day of cooking, and there was a lot of great flavors in there, and it was nice and filling and hearty. Of course, there's cons too. I mean, how long that thing took was, yeah, I'm exhausted. I've been on my feet the entire day making this thing. There was no breaks. And I've used every dish I could find in this kitchen, and I've cleaned this kitchen up 3 or 4 different times. Did it have to take that long? Probably not. Did it need that many steps? I don't know. There's probably an easier way to make this thing. Julia. And yeah, the breadcrumbs. Be careful with those damn breadcrumbs, because they're really just trying to steal the thunder. I'm not gonna let them bother me too much. At the end of the day, what can we say about the cassoulet? It took us to the end of the day. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir. Join me over on Patreon. It's the best way to support this show, and there's plenty of extra content over there. I'm going to be making more of that very soon, including a new Q&A, a new behind the scenes video, and yeah, we just finished a live stream. So it's a great place to hang out, and there's a link right here or in the description. That's Patreon. Of course, you don't need to if you don't want to. You can stay right here. See you soon. Bye.